What up? We are DV, and yeah, today is Saturday, Sunday, May 11th. Yeah, May 11th, 2025. And I'm grateful to be alive, and I'm grateful that anybody thought about us, even considered checking up on a nigga, see what we talking about. Yeah, man. Are you an underachiever? Do you underachieve? I ask that because a lot of times we think we're doing it, right? We think we're doing too much, but we're really not doing enough. We're really just kind of hitting the baseline. We're not really being our fullest self. We're not really going for the best we can go for. We think we are. And it's easy to do and be convinced of that because, we got a lot of other people. Sometimes you got other people around us who are underachieving. You're just in an environment that isn't necessarily the best that you deserve. So you may be convinced that you're doing the best you can be doing when you're really just underachieving. Now, that's an unconscious level of underachievement. What if you're the kind of person that literally shoots low, that just lowers his standards or his or her standards on a daily basis, that you don't look for the best, you look for the most minuscule and most basic in life,
or the easiest
route.
Yeah,
that's a good example, a good characteristic of a person who is considered an underachiever. You don't try your best, you don't look for the best, you just look for the just good enough, and you settle for less, and you look for the easiest route in life. You try to avoid anything that requires you to have some focus or some heart,
right,
some bravery, or some work ethic, some discipline. You avoid all that because you're an underachiever.
right.
Now, the purpose of me saying this isn't to judge. I don't give a fuck. That's your life. But I care enough to know if you know that you're an underachiever. If you know you're an underachiever and you're okay with that, shit, do your thing.
Right.
But if you don't know, you might want to consider, what are you doing? Are you really going for it, or are you really just settling for less?
And if not, why aren't you? Right? If you're not achieving more, you're not going after more, you're not pushing for more, if you're being an underachiever, why are you doing that, right? That's a better question. Why are you doing that then?
Yeah.
Now that you suggest why or what an underachiever is, if you figured out that you're an underachiever, why? Why are you an underachiever? Right? Like, why? There was a point in my life that I think I was underachieving for sure. I think that was around the time where I remember I was smoking weed like every day and really wasn't doing too much with my day. I was back in high school actually, right before we graduated. So I was like almost 18, 19. And I remember just having this, I guess you could say epiphany. I was smoking weed again, sitting on my ass at home, right? And I just had this thought like, damn, like, what else do I do with my days besides get high every day and sit and maybe, get with friends every now and then, and hang out with some girls. But every day was the same day. And I was thinking, damn, I'm sure there's more I could do with my life. But it just never hit me up until that moment. And I realized I was underachieving. But then, like I said, let's go back to why. Why was I doing it? Why was I doing it? I found that I had low self-esteem. At the time, I had low self-esteem. I probably had higher self-esteem from more than a lot of people around me had, for sure. But even still, I think compared to what my potential was, my self-esteem was not as high as it could have been and should have been, So that was my reasoning, or many other reasons, I'm sure, but that was one of the main reasons I had discovered why I was underachieving. Now, what's your reason for underachieving? There's a lot of reasons that you could be doing it, probably don't believe in yourself, or maybe you just believe that you can do only specific things. Maybe you think you're just meant for only these limited amount of things. I once thought the same too, that I was only fit and born for certain things, and that's that. That's my role in this life, and that's all I'm gonna be.
Maybe you have zero idea of your own potential.
Right.
Maybe you never explored it.
Right.
Maybe no one ever even pointed it out to you.
That's my guess.
These are all very real things that happen to a lot of people every day.
Yeah.
Adults and children. It starts from children mainly, I noticed, from what I think, from what I've seen. I mean, I think that if you're doing like the day-to-day thing and you get this feeling inside every time you go to work or when you go to basketball practice or you go to the gym and you feel like you could be doing more, that's not you overthinking it. That's the truth. That's your intuition speaking to you. You need to listen to it and observe and kind of reconsider some things. Are you are you doing 100% every day? Because you should be. You only got one day at a time, and you don't even know if you're going to get the next one after that.
Right.
So you might as well put 100% in whatever it is you're doing every single day. You know?
As if it's your only day.
As if it's your only day. Don't do a little bit today and say tomorrow I can do better. No. You don't know if that's what you have. You don't know if that's the reality.
Right.
The only reality is that you have right now and today to do 100%. So if you're doing what, 3 sets of push-ups, you're doing 20. Just by doing that 3 sets of push-ups and doing 20 on the last one, in my book, that's underachievement. Because in my perspective, you should always be striving for more, even if it's just one more push-up on that last set. Mm-hmm. Today you did a little bit more than yesterday.
Right.
The day-to-day thing isn't to just survive. The day-to-day thing isn't to just do good enough. We're here to strive, man. That's what we're really here to do. In case you didn't know that, we're not here just to be here. We're here to strive, and it don't have to be working out. It don't have to be getting money. It don't have to be all this extravagant shit, crazy shit. It could be simple things in life, but the objective is to do better today than you did yesterday.
Yeah.
Underachieving is a way. The reason why it's so fucking detrimental to me, in my opinion, is because it trains your mind to accept less than you deserve.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And the more you do that, every time you do that, you're not living your fullest.
Right.
Like I said, you may think you are, but you're not. Because you didn't even try to do more than that. You didn't even try.
Right.
You just accepted whatever that was.
Right.
At least try.
You get in a habit of lowering your standards.
Yeah, that's what it leads to, yeah.
Right? If you take a look around at yourself, think about it, like from the maybe from the way the men or women that you're choosing, or maybe the clothing that you choose, the food that you choose on a day-to-day, or the type of content that you're consuming online.
Quality of clothes you pick.
Right.
Never mind the type. That's your thing. It's a personal thing.
Right.
I'm talking about quality.
But those are good examples, evidence of you maybe possibly choosing lower than what you deserve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lowering your standards, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just small examples, but they're good examples. You just look around, and those are good examples of kind of indications to tell you whether you're choosing less than, underachieving, essentially, right?
Another reason why people get in the habit of underachieving is because lack of confidence. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people might try to choose the flow or fly under the radar, so to speak, because they're afraid that if they do well, they might get too much attention.
Right.
It's either because of lack of confidence or something happened to them in the past where they were doing their best and someone made them feel like they were doing something wrong, or something maybe scary happened that scared them out of trying anymore.
Right.
I've done it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've definitely done it.
Right. And honestly, that right there just kind of brought up an idea that kind of touches on issues with inner child stuff that you should heal, which we have a video about. You should check out somewhere in the maybe like in the DV Twins music playlist. Yes, it's in there. It's a video called "Heal Your Inner Child." You should check that out as well. But yeah, that's one of the things you can do to help that situation is heal your inner child. But that's another video. But check it out though.
Yeah. So it's I would say that it's really common. I think a lot of people go through it, believe it or not, that at one point or another in their life, their confidence was shattered or their ego was bruised.
100%.
Or they just had a bad experience and it just didn't go like they wanted. And they figured maybe this ain't for me. So maybe they just underachieved and they just keep flying below the radar on purpose. You know how many people we know personally that I'm related to, that I just know throughout the day-to-day, I meet day-to-day, people I work with that are so talented, that are so special, that they have an inner light that shines so brightly that people just gravitate to them for whatever reason that may be. But that's an indication that there's something special about them. But they underachieve. Maybe because they don't know, or they just do know and they're scared to let that out. I've had people show me their certain gifts. And then when I ask them why you don't pursue this as a lifestyle or even a career choice, They say because I'm scared, you know. They've told me because I'm scared. I'm afraid of what might happen. Basically, they're saying they're afraid of success.
Right.
You know. Fear of success is another reason why people underachieve.
Right. You actually hear about it. You always hear about one or the other. It's either fear of failure or fear of success.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to guess, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I think the percentage is higher in being a fear of success.
More success than fear.
Right.
I mean, than failure.
Yeah. I know mine was.
I know mine was too.
Mine was.
Maybe it's because in our life, at least I'll speak for myself. Myself, I've had a lot of different successes in my life. I mean, being successful was kind of like a normal thing for me.
Like, it's almost expected.
It's almost expected. Like my whole life, I've been pretty decent at most of the things that I've tried.
Family members expect it. You know what I'm saying? Friends expect it. People who know you, they're expecting you to do it.
So I'm used to it. So I'm used to always being successful. So usually, but see, there's been times that when things do go well, sometimes they go a little too well, and you can't handle it. You know, you get overwhelmed with all the success.
Exactly.
It happens, man.
Yeah.
More than you realize. It happens in Hollywood a lot. Look at some of the people that become successful and famous, and they start going in a decline. And it could be because they've been through some shit that they weren't ready for it, or some shit that happened and it just kind of scared them. Like, I don't want a part of this no more. If they think this is what comes with success, I don't want it. You know,
right?
It happens on lots of different levels.
So
you know?
true too.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of different reasons, a lot of different areas.
Like I remember that. Like not necessarily well, I'll say that, yeah. Like I just recalled a situation one time in an audition, right? An audition years ago when I was somewhat pursuing an acting career. And I had got a couple roles as far as background stuff, but there was a role that I really, really wanted that would have been what I would have considered a major role. And I did the audition, and I didn't get the part. And that was the first time ever that I actually felt what I call rejection, right? And it was at that moment where I actually started thinking maybe I don't want to pursue acting, you know. And I would, and then, not that I'm even pursuing it much now, even though from that time to time we do have auditions. But the thing is that I almost just said fuck it, and I'm not made for this. You know, I almost gave up on that. Literally just gave up on it because of the fact that I was let down. One time, that's all it took. You know, let down because I faced rejection one time. But it's something that's simple that could turn you away from, you know, achieving more. You know, that was a good example of that. You know, I'm glad I didn't let that happen, but it was one thing that just made me think of that I almost just truly one little let down, and I can't even call it rejection. It was just really but it was really a letdown, and that quick that I was ready to go a whole nother direction because of that, you know. But it could be something so simple like that. There's a reason why people decide not to achieve more, you know, to go after it. But it's a very small, stupid reason, of course. But I'm pretty sure that could be some of the reasons why the people out there are underachieving for sure.
Another problem I see that comes with that is people get so used to you underachieving, they don't expect much out of you anymore. They just get used to you doing just enough.
If you're one of those people, yeah.
Like I said, that's the problem with underachieving.
Yeah.
If you're a person who underachieves on a daily basis, you choose less than you deserve, and you don't go for the best, and people see that, they're not going to expect much out of you.
They expect you to do that.
They will ask somebody else to go do something. Like, say they need someone to fix their car or work on their brakes, for example. And they like, well, I'm not going to ask him, even though he lives with me. That's my roommate, right? That's my son. That's my niece. That's my nephew. I need them to do it because it's just more convenient.
Let's say what it is. They look at you as useless. Really.
Yeah. So they're gonna avoid asking you because they know that they don't really care that much. They don't even shoot that. They don't shoot that far in their own life.
Right. Exactly.
So they're not really gonna ask you. You might feel a way about it, but what you expect because they're used to seeing you underachieve.
Right.
You don't even think that they noticing the shit.
Right.
Because you probably don't even notice it. You so used to doing it.
He never finishes anything. He starts something and never finishes.
That type
like
shit.
That
type shit. Starting shit and never finish it. They pay attention to that.
Right. You know.
Why do you think in job interviews they ask you if you have a fucking degree in something?
Right.
It ain't to see how your intelligence level is. The main reason why they ask you that is to see if you can stick to something long enough to finish it.
Or when they ask what level you into, it's better trying to see how high of a level you're willing to achieve. Yeah. Are you still achieving that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Are you still in school? Are you still achieving higher?
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff to
look for. Are you still pursuing better?
Right.
Or are you just settling for what it is and not really trying anymore? Right. That's what they're really
Are you the person that just settles for just good enough, basically?
Because that's what that says. That's literally what that says to them. They're looking to see if you have any type of commitment in you. If you can sit and focus and be dedicated enough to finish anything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because the reality is everybody got shit going on in life. So there's no excuse for why you can't finish what you started. I mean, the only difference is you chose to drop what you was doing for something else. A lot of people got multiple things going on, but I respect personally the person who can sit down and finish what they started because that's what they decided to do.
This is really just a matter of choosing how high a priority, how high of a priority it is for you. I'm talking to myself when I say this, by the way, because that was something I've always struggled with, still kind of struggle with, is to figure out which one's more of a priority for you, you know? And it's simple, really. Whichever one you want to finish is the one that needs to be the highest priority. It's really that simple. If you really feel it's that important to finish as soon as possible, then make that your highest priority.
Yep.
That's about it, really.
I think that may be the issue why people don't, because they don't see it as something that they should prioritize because they think, well, I'll have next time or I can do something else. But what if that thing that you keep putting off is the one thing that you should do, the one thing that actually will take you to that next level?
Next level, right.
It usually is. It's the thing we avoid the most. The thing we hate the most, the thing we dislike the most, the thing that we think is going to make us the most boring,
right,
or be the most boring.
Right.
I know all about that.
Like for me, like right now, something I'm currently kind of dealing with right now, struggling with, is making sure that I get some type of cardio in at least 5 times out of a week. Some type of cardio in every 5 times a week. That's the one thing that for whatever reason, my body's just like, I don't want to do that. I fight it a lot, and I've got some reasons why, but the main thing is, the very fact that I'm fighting that is probably the same thing that's going to tip me over the scale to come for my body to become a better body than I've ever had. You know, is that right there, doing the cardio 5 times a week.
A better you
know,
than you've ever
that
had.
one thing that I'm fighting is that one thing that's going to make me get my body to where it's never been before. You know, but that's the one that I keep struggling with. But that's a good signal to me that's saying that's the thing you need to do the most. That thing that you fight the most is the thing you probably need to do the most. It's the thing that's probably going to get you to that next level of achievement.
Yeah.
Remember that one thing that you keep fighting the most is that one thing you probably need to be doing. You know, the one thing you resist the most. Sounds good in your head, but in your body or whatever, for whatever it is holding you back from it, that's the thing you need to do.
And so, since we're talking about underachievement, the opposite of it, what? Overachiever, right? You got people who try 100% and then some in everything they do. I won't say generally there's nothing wrong with it, but it has its times where it can be more of a hindrance than a help to be a person who can never just do your best and leave it at that. I'm like that when it comes to music. When I'm in the studio and I'm recording and I'm making music, I get so obsessed over every detail. Sometimes it's hard for me to just walk away and say, this is good, this is good, sounds good, you know? Or when I'm making a beat, you know what I mean? Like, I have a habit to add too much. And it's like, yeah, it sounds good, but is it necessary?
Right.
You know? That's why I often have to come back and listen to things over and over and listen to it again with a new, fresh set of ears so I can just kind of get a different perspective, you know? And get a better idea of what should I leave and what should I take away, you know? That's an example of me just overdoing things, being an overachiever. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people call it perfectionist. You know, you got people that would be in the category of a person, what do they call them? Workaholics. You know, you got people like that think like there's people right now, especially in LA, they're working 2-3 jobs, working doubles and shit like crazy, but their health is fucking going in decline. But the reason why they're doing it is because they're thinking about all the bills they got. They're thinking about, well, what if this isn't enough? What if that isn't enough? And it's like, but at the point where it starts to fuck up your health, it's enough. That's my opinion.
that's your answer right there.
That's your answer. It's enough.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? You know what? Because you asked the question that I've asked before. I've said that, you know, and you're right. I was like, well, how do you know when's enough is enough? You know it when your body's saying it ain't working.
Don't compromise your health, right? That's all you got. You don't compromise your health. Now, the job, of course, they fine with it. They don't give a fuck that you look like shit.
Right.
And you ain't slept in days.
Right.
Your family ain't seen you. You know, your bills are paid, but you ain't got no real fucking satisfaction for you.
Right.
You don't got no real joy in your life.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you said it right there. When's enough? When your body tells you it's enough.
Yeah. When your heart tells you, if you're not happy with it anymore, man.
Right.
But that's hard to do. I know it's hard because we all teeter-totter with that.
Yeah, because sometimes you kind of got to go against. At times you have to go against.
Sometimes.
Just because you don't necessarily want to do it.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes there's still things that need to be done, whether you want to do it or not.
But if you find yourself having that conversation with yourself every day, and it's always you pick the job over your health, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Well, if you consistently do that, you're telling yourself that you're not worth it.
Yeah.
You're not worth more.
That's what you're telling me, that the money and the job and everything else come first before you.
Right.
And you the whole reason why this shit is around.
Right.
The job,
Right.
the money that's coming,
Right.
the bills that are being paid, the material shit that you can afford for it to have because of it, it's because of you. And if you don't take care of you, you ain't gonna be able to have all that no more. So it doesn't matter if I can work harder or I can get more. I got a couple more. They give me 3 more fucking hours of overtime, 8 more hours of overtime. Yeah, you get stuck in that. You get caught in that. Before you know it, a year went by. You ain't really achieved none of the shit that you wanted to achieve, and you still feel like shit and look like shit. And you're not happy with it, but the job's still giving you more hours. That's great, but that don't mean that you got to take it just because they're giving it to you. I learned that. It just you have to decide at what point is enough. That's it. You got to prioritize you and your health. And over fucking achieving is only good when you're not sacrificing your health. If you're sacrificing your health, that's maybe not the route. Maybe you've done enough and you just don't realize you've done enough. Because I know I do that. Yeah. Sometimes enough is enough and you still going thinking you got to add just a little bit more. Sometimes that comes from fear of not having it again. You got to question yourself, why am I doing it? Am I doing this out of fear? Am I overachieving out of insecurity? Am I worried that something won't work? Sometimes just do that shit, hit it and quit it. Let it be enough. Do the job, walk away from it.
Ultimately, what we're really saying is maintain a balance between all these
Yes,
shit,
sir.
right?
Yeah.
Maintain a balance.
Maintain the balance,
always,
man.
As always.
Maintain balance.
Yeah.
So yeah, we underachieving is great. If you are okay with that and you want that to be your life, that's fine. No judgment. But if you're a person who wants more and think you deserve more, don't get too comfortable with that underachieving shit. Trying to stay below the radar, you know what I mean? Trying to stay low key. Because you get too low key for too long, people ain't stop looking for your ass. They gonna stop checking on you because they think he ain't about shit. No way, he don't want nothing.
Right.
You can't be mad at him for that.
So they don't expect much out of
They
you.
watch what you do, so that's what they going off of, not what you said.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So I suggest, man, you go for it. Go full throttle, man. Whatever you're doing, put your heart into it. Go for it. Get disciplined. Get a plan. Stay focused. And don't choose less than. Choose the best because you deserve it.
That's
Simple
right.
as that. You deserve it, man.
That's right.
You deserve going for the best because you probably got a lot more in you than you realize. First, you got to figure out what that is, then multiply that shit.
Also, I want you to leave in the comments right now. What is it that you think you're either underachieving about or overachieving for right now?
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear it. Leave it in the comments right now. Give me a quick little synopsis of what's going on in your life and what you think you need to be achieving more of, or what you think you're underachieving right now. Leave it in the comments, please.
So yeah, moral of the story is stop choosing less than. Choose the best for you because you deserve it.
For sure.
If you got anything from what we said today that struck a chord, struck a nerve, if it inspired anything, let us know. Get in the comments, holler at us, connect with us. That's what we want. That's what we need. For this shit to work, for this shit to go how it's supposed to go, we need y'all to connect.
Right.
We need to know how y'all feel.
Right.
Because we ain't talking to ourselves, talking to y'all.
Right.
You know, whoever gave a shit to even tune in and see what we talking about today, man. I appreciate you.
The very fact that you're listening is the main reason why we continue
why
to
we
keep
still doing this, man.
Right.
You know, that's why we're doing it.
Right.
I appreciate y'all, man. Whoever came to see this and thought about checking up on us, I need this shit just as much as y'all. You know what I mean? I'm a human being, man. I'm a regular dude. I'm a special dude, but I'm regular. And so are you. But you got to take the time to go discover that about yourself. So I'm gonna leave you with this, man. I love you. And I also love myself. But I'm able to love you because I love myself. So take some time to love yourself for yourself. I fuck with y'all.
Like, cool.